Alrighty, welcome to a Wednesday. It's hot out there again today, second straight day in a row. Heat advisories throughout the Bay Area, and those heat advisories stay in effect through tomorrow. It's hot. I mean, we've got temperatures already in the triple digits in Concord and Walnut Creek. In the Central Valley, they're up over 102, 103 degrees. Some areas may get as high as 108 as we go into tomorrow. And by the way, our heat advisory ends as we get into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. The Central Valley is going to stay hot for a while. Their heat advisory or their heat warning is supposed to get dropped then, but I suspect they're going to keep some kind of advisory up because it's going to stay hot, at least by latest model runs. It's going to stay hot on that east side of the Central Valley for a while. So what are we thinking about? We're thinking about heat, right? So there's heat exhaustion, there's heat stroke, there's a lot of, well, heat's the most dangerous weather event, right? A hurricane, tornado, heat takes the most lives, and a lot of those don't get reported. We talked about heat the other day, the idea that pre-existing conditions are really exacerbated by heat. And I never really put much thought into this until I realized, oh yeah, all right, old people, the heat is, you can't regulate your heat well. Young people, kids, asthmatics, diabetics, any kind of psoriasis, anything that you have that's sort of chronic gets exacerbated by this. So it's really a very difficult situation. So you got that, then you got fire, higher fire danger, low fuel moistures. We've already seen that out in the East Bay, Livermore Valley a couple of days ago. Corral fire got big, then Patterson fire yesterday. As we go into the next 24 to 48 hours, we're still in that zone, especially in the Central Valley. And then the third thing is, and it's just sort of come onto the radar, is the swells coming up over at Ocean Beach, right? And so when the swell comes up, people don't realize how dangerous it can be. They go out to the beach because it's hot. And this is happening today, and this will happen probably to some extent again tomorrow. Here is a picture showing the fog being cut away from the coast. And this is one of the main mechanisms or reasons for, it's a symptom of the high pressure, right? And it's the main reason people want to go to the beach, because Ocean Beach is not always that nice. This time of year, spring and summer, it's usually pretty foggy. Fog is south down around Santa Barbara, down south to Laguna and Oceanside and Del Mar, all the way along the coast here. It's really kind of, I would hate to say gloomy because the ocean's awesome, but it's probably pretty gloomy in all these spots because it's a thick, dense fog. And then you've got heat in this whole area. So the Western power grid all the way down to Vegas and out to Phoenix is being strained by all the heat that we're experiencing. Okay, so I'm going to pick on Ocean Beach right now. Because it's kind of this confluence of the two of the three, which is heat and rip currents and waves, right? Because we've got the big city right next to a big beach. The thing people don't really notice it or realize, I think, is see these blue arrows? They represent drainage basins, and you've got major drainage basins from the 2/3 of the state of California drain into the Delta, which in turn drains out through the mouth of the Golden Gate Bridge or the mouth of the Golden Gate there. And that's about, what, a mile and a half wide, something like that. So all these, the Sacramento, the San Joaquin, the Yuba, the Russian, the Feather, these rivers all bleed out through there. And especially now with the snow melt, you've got increased flows. So this is one of the main reasons that rip currents get so nasty out there, because you're pushing sediments down the coast. So I've put in this diagram, it represents the gate. It shows the sediments coming out of the South Bay and the North Bay, funneling through the gate. And then because of the way the earth spins, because of the prevailing northwesterly winds, the sand and the debris from the river mouth, which is basically the Golden Gate Bridge now, it's a confluence of all these rivers, drops sediments. And you get these sandbars that are highly intricate and very pronounced, and they get very, what would be the word? They get cut up by the waves of the winter, and they create these channels, and those channels create the rip currents. And it just so happens that in this area, San Francisco's Ocean Beach, I always say it, most dangerous beach in the world. Nobody's called me on it. I keep waiting for somebody from somewhere really dangerous to go, but maybe not. These conditions alone that I've just described are enough. But when you put 1 million people right there, and it's not a lot of air conditioning in San Francisco, you're going to get people bleeding out to the beach and getting in trouble. And one of the things that I talk about a lot is, and I thought about this the other day too, when people go to the beach, especially a place like Ocean Beach, you kind of sit there. It's not necessarily the best swimming beach, and everybody knows that, and go, I'm not going to go in. But then they have a couple of ranch waters, and all of a sudden they're out there waiting, and they're really going to the bathroom, right? That's most when you get up to your waist. I get up to my waist at Ocean Beach, and when you see people, you know what they're doing, right? So let's not kid ourselves. So, but that creates a very dangerous scenario. It's not Huntington Beach, it's not Oceanside, it's not Newport, where there aren't these nasty rips. It's Ocean Beach with that giant river mouth to the north, creating extremely dangerous conditions. So I'm just saying the realities of this are I've pulled people out of the water. Everybody I know has pulled people out of the water. I remember before the lifeguards were there, I did a quick check on the beach. They figure about 400 rescues a year, and that's like, okay, so 400 people get in trouble a year. It sounds like a lot. I guarantee you that number's 5 times that a year, because the ones that are reported by lifeguards, essentially, that's what they're bumping into. But the surfers that pull people out, the people that are there, or people just luck out and somehow get out of the rip current before they die and get hypothermia. So it's a very dangerous beach. So be careful. That's my takeaway there. But as we go into the next couple of days, the fog's going to come back. Fog's not there now, obviously. You can see it, the live picture or the satellite imagery. You do see a little puffy fog right here, right? Kind of showing up offshore. Again, we've got the fog south of Point Conception. And as we go into the next couple of days, the fog is going to work its way up the coast. It'll be here by probably tomorrow midday, I would suspect, maybe sooner than that. These are the current conditions around the northern part of the state. So let's just take it. This is the observation map. So it's 98 degrees right now in a place called Dillard Road. It's kind of out by Stockton. It's 98 degrees there. The winds are northeast at 7. You've got 100 degrees. Where are we at here? This is up in Sacramento, north of Sacramento, up on the north end of the valley, more towards Yuba City. And they're doing 100 degrees. So I suspect today, probably the hottest day of the week, but these hundreds, like this 100 up in eastern Sacramento up by Ben Bolt, they're going to be seeing temperatures in the upper 90s, low 100s pretty much right through the week. Through the weekend and into early next week. So I'm going to show you this map. The other day I showed you an 850 millibar map, which is 5,000 feet. This is a map that is surface-based, so it's temperatures, okay? And you just look at the colors. Don't worry about the temperature, or the actual numbers in here. So the colors, here we are this afternoon. So boom, there's your 104. Watch how that purple area tomorrow gets shaved back a little bit. So here we are tomorrow. This is, and you see the Bay Area getting it's not really super pronounced, but we're right in here. See how that area of yellow is pushing in? So that's the fog. That's the thermodynamic component where the hot valley, air rises, the cold coast, the air comes in, onshore flow. That's why heat waves in the Bay Area last about 3 days. And that's kind of where we are on this thing. But watch this. If I go all the way through time, watch these purples. The valley, we're cool. It doesn't look like it, but we're cool. As we go through the next 4 days or so, there it's starting to bend. Now it's still real hot. So we're seeing in the east side of the Sacramento Valley, we're seeing temperatures that are going to mimic today's, but not be as hot, but they're going to be in the upper 90s, low 100s for a few days. Here we are live out at Ocean Beach. I can pick out a rip right now. You can see my cursor. So here's the sandbar. See right here, see my cursor? Okay, right there. And then see this right here? That's a rip current. Water comes in, gets pushed, and gets pulled back out through deeper water. If I wanted to go surfing right now, I would never paddle out here. I would paddle out. It's pretty gnarly right now. I wouldn't paddle out anywhere. I'd go down to this end of the beach, and I'd come out this way. And that's basically using a rip current. So just a little practical knowledge there. Here's a 5-day forecast. It's going to be cooler tomorrow. It's still warm inland, low 90s, but not 103, 102. We'll see how warm those temperatures get here or how hot they get. But I suspect we're going to see a couple 102s, maybe a 103 in Fairfield. And then Friday, much cooler. Saturday, Sunday, pleasant. But you go east, it's going to be really hot, really nasty.